At the beginning of the story, we are shown a temple filled with numerous Buddhist statues. Suddenly, a figure appears and begins smashing all of them. This person is holding a doll and shaking it aggressively, as if a soul is trapped inside. Soon, it is revealed that this person is actually a young girl, who says, "Even if you're trapped inside a bathroom, I'll still find you." The scene then shifts to a university in Japan, where a boy named Iso has just taken admission. After finishing his introduction speech, he steps outside and meets his friend Ako, who clicks a picture with him. However, because of a curse, the photo instantly gets ruined. This makes Kitaro anxious and angry, and he says, "Looks like I've cursed you too." But Ako reassures him, saying it isn't his fault and that she was the one who wanted to take the photo. She then explains that whenever someone takes a picture with him, the same thing always happens. We are then told more about Kitaro. He always wears a glove on one hand because back in high school, a spirit cursed him. Since then, spirits are naturally attracted to him, and because of this, even his friend ended up getting cursed. After that incident, Kitaro locked himself inside his room for 2 entire years. Eventually, Ako and her family encourage him to step outside again and live a normal life. Ako even finds a job for him, and after explaining everything, she leaves. Later, Kitaro reaches the place she mentioned, which turns out to be a private tutoring center. There, a man informs him that he has to teach a small girl named Yaoi. Hearing this makes Kitaro extremely nervous, as he hasn't interacted with anyone for a long time. In the next scene, we once again see the same little girl holding a candle as she enters a room filled with cursed dolls, repeatedly saying, "Come out! Come out!" The following morning, Kitaro goes to her house to begin tutoring, but is shocked to realize that the house belongs to his friend Ako. When he rings the doorbell, Ako comes out and asks why he's there. Kitaro explains that he's come to tutor a young girl, which makes Ako very happy. She tells him that Yaoi is her cousin. When they go inside, Kitaro is completely stunned after seeing Yaoi and blurts out, "Who is this? And who are you living with?" Yaoi points at his hand and says there is a terrifying spirit inside it. Hearing this, Kitaro is shocked and realizes that Yaoi can see spirits just like him. He also notices that the doll she's holding contains a spirit and tells her to release it. But instead, Yaoi suddenly chokes the doll and says, "Please forgive it. It scared you." Seeing all this leaves Kitaro utterly terrified. However, he remembers how Ako helped him return to a normal life. Gathering courage, he tells Yaoi that he's ready to teach her and officially becomes her tutor. In the next scene, they take him in a car and bring him somewhere, telling him that since he's there, he can easily drive away the ghost. Kitaro angrily responds, saying he doesn't know how to exorcise spirits and that he isn't some tantric or baba. They then arrive in front of a telephone booth, where Ako explains that the booth is cursed. Long ago, a girl who accepted expensive gifts from her lovers was killed there by those same men, and since then, the booth has been haunted. Ako says anyone who enters the booth or uses the phone gets killed by the girl's spirit. Hearing this makes Kitaro extremely scared. Suddenly, Yaoi walks inside the booth, and Kitaro quickly pulls her out, asking if she's okay, saying he can't see any ghost there. Even so, Kitaro can still sense a presence nearby. He then enters the booth himself and tries to make a call. Inside, he begins hearing strange voices whispering, "Hurry up! Hurry up!" Suddenly, the booth starts filling with blood. Yaoi pulls Kitaro out and throws her doll inside the booth, where the ghost brutally rips it apart. Seeing this, both Kitaro and Ako panic and run away. Later, they return home, where Kitaro continues teaching Yaoi and asks if she can truly see spirits. She replies that she can both see and capture them. Ako then explains that Yaoi's parents died a few years ago, and since then, she's been living with her. Yaoi often visits haunted places because she hopes to find the spirits of her parents again. We are then shown Yaoi's past, where she is happily spending time with her mother and father. Suddenly, they meet with an accident, but Yaoi survives. After that incident, her intelligence increases drastically. Because of this, she gains the ability to see not only humans but also ghosts. She witnesses an evil spirit taking her mother's soul away. Since then, she can still see her father's spirit, but her mother never appears again. Ako explains to Kitaro that this is why Yaoi keeps returning to haunted places, hoping to find her mother once more. The scene shifts again as they return to the same telephone booth. Kitaro is still terrified, and just looking at him makes it seem like he's completely lost control in fear. He clutches a small Buddha statue meant to protect him from evil spirits. Suddenly, his gloved hand drags him inside the booth, and he becomes so frightened that it feels like death is near. The spirit begins choking him, causing the Buddha statue to slip from his hand. He wonders why it isn't working and believes he's finished. However, Yaoi realizes that the statue is actually working. The spirit is just extremely powerful. In the next moment, she pulls out 2 weapons from behind her waist, leaps into the air, and tells the spirit that if it wants violence, then it should take this. Using the Buddha statue, she launches a powerful attack that completely destroys the booth. A loud scream echoes as she cuts the phone wires as well. She then reassures Kotaro, telling him not to panic and that no matter how strong the spirit is, she's with him and will always help him. As they head back home, Kotaro once again senses the same spirit, realizing the phone is still with Yaoi. After reaching home, he becomes deeply disturbed, unable to understand what just happened. AKO then tells him that while he was on the phone, he had a terrifyingly evil smile on his face. Kotaro wonders if that's really true, thinking that the more he tries to escape these supernatural events, the deeper he gets pulled into them. He asks Yaoi if they'll need to return there again, but she replies that there's no need, as nothing remains there anymore. Finally, we see inside Yaoi's room, where the same telephone booth spirit is being bullied and tortured by other spirits. On the other side, Yaoi asks Kotaro if he knows about Kataku. Hearing this, Kotaro is shocked and asks, "Kataku or cuckoo?" Yaoi then explains that it refers to locking several poisonous insects inside a jar, forcing them to torment and kill one another, and the one that survives goes on to torture others. Already terrified, Kotaro tells Yaoi that if she ever needs anything, she can rely on him. In the following scene, Kotaro walks along, thinking about how he had barely managed to live a normal life, yet once again he is dragged back into this chaos. As soon as he reaches AKO's house, Yaoi opens the door. The moment he notices the doll in her hand, he becomes extremely frightened. While they sit and talk, Yaoi tells him that they must visit another haunted location. Kotaro clearly refuses and makes an excuse, saying that a spirit once placed a curse on him, and for its treatment he has to keep going to different places, so he cannot accompany them. However, in the very next moment, all of them are shown sitting inside a car, making it obvious that he has been convinced to come along. Even though his condition is terrible and he feels trapped again, Kotaro cannot understand why AKO keeps supporting Yaoi so strongly. Yaoi asks him whether he truly has to keep going repeatedly for his treatment, and he answers that he does. Then AKO reveals that the temple they are heading to today has a priest who is actually Kotaro's grandmother. On the way, they all joke around and enjoy themselves, but the moment they arrive and Kotaro's grandmother sees Yaoi, she becomes furious. She angrily demands to know why they brought her there, calling Yaoi extremely dangerous and ordering them to take her away. She adds that this is the same girl who destroyed 5 Buddha statues. Yaoi calmly corrects her, saying, "Not 5, 7, which only makes her angrier. Kotaro tries to calm his grandmother down, but she snaps at him, asking why he is stopping her. After some convincing, her anger finally settles, and she allows Yaoi to stay, though only with a warning. She then tells Kotaro to come with her because it is time to perform the curse exorcism. Along with another person, she begins treating the curse on his hand and advises him that if he eats properly and exercises every day, evil spirits will not be able to overpower him. Kotaro thinks to himself that without his grandmother, he would never have been able to live a normal life. Yaoi attempts to peek into the room, but AKO stops her and instead shows her a photo of Kotaro's hand, covered in strange tiny white veins. His grandmother then uses a divine sword to slice through all of those veins. Once the exorcism is completed, Kotaro and his grandmother step outside, completely worn out. Shortly after, AKO and Yaoi join them. Yaoi asks if she can keep the cut veins, and his grandmother casually agrees, remarking that Yaoi likes creepy things anyway. She then warns them about a highly dangerous doll stored in the temple's basement, strictly forbidding anyone from entering that place. It is said that no one is ever allowed to go down there. Later, Kotaro is shown walking along the road when he finds a doll. Thinking that his grandmother may have accidentally left it behind, he picks it up and heads toward the temple basement, the very place forbidden to everyone. His grandmother explains that anyone who enters the basement risks having the dolls there take control of their body. On his way, Kotaro finds a doll dressed in red and carries it with him. At the same time, his grandmother explains that all the dolls are extremely dangerous, especially one Japanese doll wearing red clothes. Inside the basement, Kotaro is seen sitting with that same doll, surrounded by many others. Their eyes glow red, showing that Kotaro has already fallen under their control. Suddenly, the doll's hair begins crawling into his mouth. He regains consciousness and desperately tries to pull it out, but fails. Just as he is about to faint, Yae suddenly appears, slashing the doll's hair with her divine sword. She scolds it, demanding to know who gave it permission to possess humans. Then she beheads the doll and warns the others that if any of them ever try to possess a human again, she will cut off their heads as well. Hearing this, all the dolls return to normal. Kotaro's grandmother and AKO soon arrive, and Kotaro realizes that Yae saved his life without thinking about her own safety. As they prepare to leave, Kotaro tells his grandmother that he can now say with certainty that Yae is a good girl and also his first student, so he wants to look after her. His grandmother warns him that the Buddha statues Yae destroyed might cause trouble along the way, advising him to take a gift and pray to remain safe. Before leaving, Kotaro buys Yae a small gift containing several Buddha statues. In return, she tells him that she will take him to her room and show him her doll collection. In the next scene, she brings him into her room, and the moment Kotaro steps inside, he is completely shocked, asking, "Is this really what I think it is?" And yes, it is. Yae explains that she has trapped numerous powerful evil spirits inside her room. She then brings the doll forward and reconnects its head using Kotaro's cut veins. Witnessing this, Kotaro's fear multiplies. The instant Yae touches the doll, blood begins to stream from its eyes. Kotaro thinks that he once believed he could protect her, but the closer he gets to Yae, the farther he drifts from his normal life, feeling completely trapped. Suddenly, AKO places her hand on Kotaro's shoulder from behind, causing his fear to spike even more. However, AKO calmly explains that ever since Yae arrived, nothing bad has happened, so he should relax. She suggests that Yae cannot even see spirits and is simply talking nonsense. At that moment, Yae steps out of the room and declares that she will not let anything happen to anyone, including Kotaro. But for that, she needs his nails, leaving him completely shocked. In the following scene, Kotaro once again goes to tutor her, even though he really doesn't want to. Still, he remembers how much AKO helped him before, so he decides to go. When AKO opens the door, Kotaro is surprised to see that she is completely fine and unharmed. AKO tells him that ever since Yae arrived, there hasn't been any trouble at all. Suddenly, Yae shows up and starts cutting Kotaro's nails, making him shout and ask what she's doing. He tries to explain things to her, but Yae keeps chasing his nails, and Kotaro firmly refuses, saying he won't give her his nails. Then AKO suggests visiting another haunted place, but as usual, Kotaro refuses. When AKO keeps insisting, he gets angry. After that, both of them sit in the car, and Yae asks Kotaro if he will come with them, but he angrily refuses again. Yae says she thought he liked spooky things, even his curse, but Kotaro yells that he hates it and wishes he could throw it away. Hearing this, Yae becomes disappointed and tells AKO to start the car. The two of them leave while talking about Kotaro. On the way, Yae mentions that Kotaro's curse can actually be removed, which makes AKO happy, and they go to buy some supplies. Meanwhile, Kotaro enters a mall to buy something that might help Yae with her studies. On their way, Yae explains to AKO that they are heading to a divine city where there is a temple. In that temple, children who were killed before birth are buried, and many Buddhist statues there depict mothers with their children. Yae adds that a goddess spirit exists there, but it has turned evil. As they travel, they see many ghosts along the road. Eventually, they arrive at the temple, and Yae prepares to enter. She tells AKO that if she doesn't return within 1 hour, she should bring help. Standing before the temple, Yae thinks about how she sensed many spirits on the way, but here she can only feel one, meaning the others are hiding inside. When she enters the temple, she sees numerous Buddhist statues. The place looks deserted, yet it is filled with spirits. We are then told that many children's spirits who never attained salvation exist there and have merged into one powerful evil spirit, along with many smaller ones. Yae notices the goddess spirit surrounded by children's souls and declares that to fix Kotaro today, she will hunt this goddess. Suddenly, the spirit attacks her, and a Buddha statue crashes behind her. The children's spirits drop the statue on Yae, while on the other side, AKO waits anxiously. Despite being injured, Yae manages to escape into the forest, dodging the spirits. She then takes out paper dolls and ties her hair to them. It is explained that when she does this, the paper dolls turn into her duplicates and follow her commands. Suddenly, a child spirit appears, and Yae says, "You came at the perfect time. I was waiting for you." After more than an hour passes, AKO goes to Kotaro for help. At first, he refuses, but when AKO tells him that Yai is doing all of this for his sake, Kotaro finally agrees. Meanwhile, Yai keeps running from the goddess spirit but eventually falls. Just as the spirit is about to attack, Yai places a paper doll in front of it, making the spirit believe it is a child. The spirit retreats, giving Yai the chance to escape. She then tricks all the spirits using her paper dolls and safely returns home. Kotaro also arrives at the temple to save her, terrified yet determined, calling out her name. When Yai sees him, she is shocked to notice many spirits following behind him. Acting quickly, she breaks a finger off a statue, jumps into Kotaro's arms, and he immediately runs away while carrying her. During their escape, AKO's car gets a small scratch, and since Kotaro is a good person, he ends up paying for the damage. In the evening, Kotaro carries Yai on his back and thanks her for everything she did for him. Yai remembers her parents and begins to cry. She then says that if anyone ever hurts her friends, she will never forgive them. She tells Kotaro that he is a very good friend and that she will explain everything to him once they get home. In the next scene, they return, and Kotaro takes Yai to her room. There, she explains that if a human's personal item is placed inside a doll, all misfortune meant for that person transfers to the doll instead. When she opens her room, Kotaro sees many badly damaged dolls. Yai explains that every attack meant for her falls on these dolls, and that each one contains a part of her, such as hair or nails. She says this is how she has protected everyone. Hearing this, Kotaro is completely shocked, realizing that this little girl truly plans far ahead. Yai then tells all the dolls in the room that everything that happened today was caused by this finger and that it contains no part of her, so they can do whatever they want with it. The dolls become extremely angry because they have suffered so much damage. All the spirits begin attacking the spirit inside the finger, brutally torturing it as it begs Yai to save it. Katar watches in shock and finally understands how Yai controls spirits. Kotaro asks her why she is doing all of this and why she needs so many spirits. Yai explains that the spirit that captured her mother's soul is incredibly powerful, and to fight it, she needs many strong spirits. She adds that if her leg wasn't injured, she would have brought the entire statue, which could have removed Kotaro's curse much faster. Kotaro then says that if his curse can be removed this way, the girl who was cursed because of him can also be saved, and that girl is none other than AKO. We are then shown a past scene where AKO removed her glove and showed her hand to Yai. Yai was shocked to see that AKO had the exact same curse on her hand as Kido. Back in the present, Yai explains to Kotaro that if they destroy the very spirit that cursed both of them, the curse will disappear. Hearing this, Kotaro is left stunned. He starts thinking about AKO and realizes that he can finally free her this way. He then tells Yai that he needs some time to think. Yai tries her best to convince him, saying that by doing this, both of their lives can return to normal. Kotaro begins thinking again about how AKO helped him live a normal life and wonders whether he should step back into the very world he always tried to escape. Finally, we see a morning scene where AKO is getting ready for college but can't decide what to wear. So, if you enjoyed this anime and want to see the next episodes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment for more.